Hi everyone, it's Chloe from Chloe's Creative Cards and I am really excited today to be sharing with you all a brand new project using our Frosty Wreath stamp and die set. Within this set you are literally going to be able to build your own wreath. We've got that beautiful wreath that's your large focal image, you've then got your little gingerbread men, your candy cane and your stars that you can build up onto your wreath, and you've also got that lovely Merry Christmas sentiment in the middle. So we are going to dive on in and get started. As always, all of the items that I've used are listed in the description below, along with all of the links for the products, and you can shop them all at www.chloescreativecards.co.uk. Right then, we are going to dive on in. So I've got my stamp already popped on an acrylic block. Because this is a large stamp with obviously the hole in the middle, what I would recommend is when you peel this off your acetate, pop it down on your craft sheet or on your work surface with the smooth side up facing towards you. Give it just a couple of seconds to rest and then literally place your acrylic block over the top like that and pick your stamp up. It's just going to stop the wreath from distorting because that can cause your images cause your issues further down the line when you come to line up your die with the image. So I'm going to take a piece of Crafter's Companion Nina card to start with. I'm going to give it a little dust over with an anti-static bag. I'm then going to take my clear embossing ink pad and I'm going to just work my way around inking up the wreath, like so. I'm going to place that down and press. And lift that away. Okay, we're then going to grab in our scrap paper and we're going to take one of our gorgeous wow powders. This one is Hollywood Hills, which is a really nice deep dark green. We're going to sprinkle that over the top and tap away the excess. Any leftover powder is going to go straight back into that jar. And then we'll pop that to one side. We're then going to heat this up with our heat gun. So we're just going to hold our heat gun still. As soon as we see that embossing powder start to melt and change, we are going to move the heat gun over the image. So we are literally chasing that embossing powder. There we go. And then we'll pop our lid on the ink pad and we're going to grab in our 2 pens. So we're going to use some alcohol markers to colour this in. So I've got 2 colours. I've got pea green and I've got ocean green. Now it's completely up to you. You can either colour in and then die cut, or you can die cut first, then colour in. I personally am going to die cut first, then colour in. So I'm going to have a little line up of my die with my stamp. So what you need to do is just work round and get this lined up at the right point. I think, have a look, I think it might go that way. All right, no, completely off. So do try to look for where I've got a little holly leaf and then a straighter looking branch. So let me just have a, that might be that way, there we go. And then as soon, you'll see it like straight away once you've got it lined up. So you're going to pop your die down into place, like so. And then you're going to take your low tack tape and tape it into place. I always tape mine in 2 places. That's going to help stop the die from moving when you pop it through your die cutting machine. So I'm using my Gemini machine. So I've got my base plate, my plastic shim, my card with my die cut side up, and then my cutting plate on the top. I'm going to run that through our machine. Like so. We're then going to lift away our die cut image and you can see we've got that wreath beautifully die cut, ready to go onto our project. So I'm going to start off with my lighter green, which is pea green. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to colour the holly leaves to start with. So I'm just going to go in with my marker pen, colouring this in, like so. And you're just going to work round and lay down your colour onto the image. So I'm starting with the little holly leaves, and then we're going to work onto the little fir branches in the background too. But this is such a nice stamp and die set. Of course, if you want to colour with your watercolour paints, or any paints actually, you could be. Or if you want to use some pencils, you could be using those, or even just using your inks, because you can pop your ink pads down onto your craft sheet and then pick up your colour from there if you want to as well. So there's lots of different ways that you can colour these. So I'm just going to work my way around, get these nicely coloured up. Like so. And then what we're going to do is go in and colour the little fir branches in the background. So to do those, I'm going to go in with my pen and just do like a bit of a flicking motion. You can colour right to the edges as well if you want, if you don't want any white space. I personally quite like the white space, so I'm going to leave a little bit. So I'm just working around, adding this green onto the image. Okay, I like to lay my lighter colour down first, and then I'm going to show you how to go in with the darker colour. After this, I'll lay this colour onto the image like so. Right, and you can see how that is starting to look a bit more wreath-like now, isn't it? So then we're going to go in with a darker green. So the lighter green I was using is called pea green. The darker green I'm using is called ocean green. So I'm going to go in with my ocean green now, and I'm literally going to do little flicks. All the way around like so. Just onto the image like this. So we're literally just flicking a little bit of colour onto here. So I'm going to work round. Adding the colour onto there like so. So then you can see we've got our wreath nicely coloured in. But I want to show you how to take that wreath to the next level. So we are going to bling up the wreath. So I'm actually going to use this one on my finished project because the glue's all dried on it. But what I'm going to do is go in with my art glitter, dried clear glue. And I'm going to grab my mint crisp glitter. This has been one of my favourite green glitters, it has to be said. It is absolutely beautiful. And it is really nice for Christmas because it gives you, because it's got that kind of holographic sheen in it. It gives you this most amazing finish that looks almost like you've got little fairy lights kind of embedded into the image. So, I'm going to add the colour in under here, the glue, sorry. So I'm just scribbling it onto the leaves. I'm not being too careful because this is quite a chunky glitter. You can see when you sprinkle it over, it's going to grab in all of those areas. So we're just going to work round, infilling with the glue, and then covering with that awesome glitter. Okay, so we're going to work round, infill, infill. And we're going to do a bit there, and then cover with that mint crisp glitter. Tap away the excess. And then we're going to pop that back into the jar. So then we're going to add a little bit of like snow and frost onto the wreath. So I've taken, let me check the name of this one, Mystical Moonlight. I always get that one wrong. And all I've done is just gone in and literally put like little flicks of glue onto those pine branches. Again, I have not been careful at all. Just flicking the glue onto here, like so. And I'm going to sprinkle that over, tap away the excess. And there we go. Then you can see how that's then giving you that gorgeous snowy effect on your wreath. So when that's dry, it's going to look like this one here. So I'm going to show you how to build up these cute little gingerbread men to go onto the wreath, okay? So all I did is I took the little gingerbread man stamp, which you do actually get within the stamp and die set. So that comes with your Frosty Christmas stamp and die set. So he's one of the extra little stamps. I took a VersaFine Morning Mist ink pad. So that's a VersaFine Clair, so it's a pigment ink, so we can emboss over the top. And then I've got my clear gloss embossing powder. So what I did is I took a bit of that Nina card, I'm just going to use the leftover from my wreath, and I stamped and embossed 7 of these. I'm just going to do one to show you. So you stamp them down, cover them with your clear gloss, tap away the excess. That goes back into the jar. And then we're going to heat this up. Like so. Again, you've got your little gingerbread man die. I'm going to colour this one in before I cut him out because he's just a small image. Sometimes it's a bit fiddly colouring. So I'm going to colour him in a gingerbread colour. So this one is a chamois from Copic. that I'm using. So just going to go in and carefully pull around the image. Okay, so colouring these little feet too. It is such a cute image, this one as well. Okay, then we're going to take our die over the top, tape that into place, like so, and run that through our die cutting machine again. So again, I'm still using my Gemini, so I'm using the exact same plate combination. And run that all the way through. Grab that out of the other side, and then I'm going to add a couple of little jewels just onto where these little buttons are. So these are our self-adhesive sparkles that I'm using. So you can pop your little buttons on. What I then also did, and this took me ages, so I'm not even going to try and do this for you now, is I tied some teeny tiny bows from some really very thin ribbon. And I just stuck those on as little bows around his neck for the Gingerbread Men. So I've got 7 of those all done and ready to go. So what I'm going to do next is we're going to start and build up the base of the card. So it's going to come together pretty quickly now. So let me pop the lid on that one. And I'm going to grab in my mats and layers that I've got pre-cut down. So I've got a piece of our lapis lazuli pearl paper for my base layer. So I'm going to use the Crystallina glitter to edge just along the side of this one. So I'm going to grab in my chisel tip glue pen. I'm going to hold the pen on the edge and drag it towards me, like so. That's just going to give you a lovely border along the edge of this little mat. Okay, and then we're going to stick that onto our base card. So I'm going to use a little bit of the Kalal all-purpose glue to stick this down. Of course, you can use tape or whatever you prefer. I just like to use this particular glue for my mats and layers, as I'm not known for getting things stuck on straight. So this certainly helps me. So I'm going to pop that down first, like so, and pop that into position. Okay, then I'm going to pop a piece of one of the gorgeous patterned papers, and this is from the Frosty Christmas paper pad. It is really, really pretty. I'm going to pop that on some foam pads and then stick that onto my base card. So pop my foam pads onto here. I've got my little basket. I always like to work with a little basket near me just to chuck the backs into. Just helps to keep everything that little bit tidier. There we go. And we're going to pop our paper down onto here. So we've got that little glittery border showing through. Okay, then next up we are going to use the 8x8 Snowflake Frame Die Set. So that is this one here. So I'm going to use the largest frame on this particular project. So I'm going to grab it out, and I've got a piece of our crystal white card that I've cut down to 8 inches square. I'm going to pop my die onto there, and I'm going to tape it into place. So what we're going to do is pop a bit of tape across the corners. Like so. I always put 4 bits of tape on this one. you don't want it moving when it runs through your machine. So, because this is a large and a very detailed die, we're using the Gemini machine. So I'm going to use my base plate, my plastic shim, and then my cutting plate on the top. And we're going to run that through. We're then going to rotate that round by 90 degrees and run that through again. There we go. I'm going to push this out. And there we go, you've got your perfectly die cut snowflake frame. You would just need to go around and poke out all of the little bits that are left in there. Okay. So what I've already done is I've got one that I've pre-prepped where I've gone round and I've put some little jewels on. So the jewels are actually from the Frosty Christmas Bling box, which is this one here. So I've used the silver and the blue and just gone and dotted those into the middle of the snowflakes. Got foam pads on the back of here. So I'm going to whip the backs off. That's going to go onto our base card like so. Okay, and then the next part, I've taken this paper, which is one of my favourites from the Frosty Christmas paper pad, it has to be said. I've taken the next circle down, and then I've missed the dashed one, I've missed the star one, and I've taken this circle. Okay, and what I've done is I've taped them both onto the paper, because as you can see, it's like a gradient paper, so it gets slightly lighter as you get towards the centre. So I've taped them both into place. I made sure my borders were even. And then I've run that through my die cutting machine because I wanted to have that lighter effect in the middle. So what that's then given me is this. Okay, so that's perfect for our mats and layers. Then I cut out the little star frame from a piece of crystal white and we're going to mat and layer it up like that onto our project. Okay. So what we're going to do next is glue this frame down into place. So again, I'm going to use a little bit, just a little bit of the Collal all-purpose on the back. I'm going to get that nice and straight, and then we want to get that kind of layered up like so. I'm going to pop that into the middle, the next layer. Before I stick this one on, I'm going to glitter it with a little bit of Crystallina. So I'm going to grab my Crystallina pot in again, and I'm going to grab in my chisel tip glue pen. And we're going to go in and just scribble over these little stars with our pen. Cover that with the glitter. Just smudged a little bit there. And then we're going to just continue working round. There we go. Right, so we're going to layer this up now onto our project. So again, I'm going to stick this one on with some foam pads. So Let me just get these on the back. And then we'll whip the backs off these. Again, as always, I'm using our foam pads on a roll, which they are utterly fabulous. They are so, so good. So I'm going to pop that down and stick that into the middle there. Then we've got this lovely piece of patterned paper again. We'll stick that down into the middle, like so. Okay, so you can see how it's starting to come together. Then we're going to grab our foam pads and stick our wreath on. This is my dry wreath. This one's dry. So we're going to stick this on. I'm going to do it with a double layer of foam pads. So I'm going to go around and just snip a bit of it. There we go. And then we're going to whip the backs off these. So I'm going to do one more. And take the backs off. So I'm doing like a double layer to really lift the wreath off the card. So that's then going to go onto there. And then we're going to take our little gingerbread men and just arrange them onto the wreath. So it's up to you how you want to do this, but you can kind of just work your way around and arrange them as you like, really. So we have him in there, maybe there. I always like to lay mine out and then kind of go in and stick them down. So I'm quite happy with my little layout there. I like to kind of pop them on little jaunty angles as well, just to add that extra little bit of interest. But it's so much fun doing things like this. There we go. And I'm going to take my Merry Christmas that I've stamped and embossed, again from the stamp set. I've embossed that in silver, just onto white card, and die cut it out. I'm going to stick that down into the centre of the wreath. So just a little foam pad on the back of there. And that'll then stick there. And then I've got a little bow that I've tied just from some satiny type, sheer type ribbon. So I'm going to take my bow and stick that down. So I'm going to pop that in the top corner up here, like so. And then I want to take my bling box and I'm going to put a little bling stone in the middle of my bow. There we go. And then I'm going to take my Dry's Clear Glue. I'm going to put 3 there. And 3 up from here. And then I'm going to take the smallest little jewels out of my bling box. Actually, no, I'm going to go for the middle size. I'm going to take some of these and just drop them into the corners. I've got my little picky up tool here. One more. 3. There we go, and that then would be your finished card. So I really hope that you have enjoyed making this project with me today. If you haven't done so already, please do hop over to chloescreativecards.co.uk and have a look at all of the goodies that we've got on the website. And of course, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have got loads of inspiration on here and we're going to be uploading lots and lots more too. So please do have a little look. Hope to see you again soon. Bye.